listen, don't make her black if you're gonna write her like this.
Before we made it to our small literary promised land, we had a couple bumps along the way. In efforts to expand the realm of possibility for black characters, I wanted to take a look at black representation in a fantasy novel. Being that fantasy is a genre in which literally anything the author creates is readily accepted as reality, I wanted to know if that boundless imaginary held true for Blackness and Black girlhood. With that in mind, we ventured into the world of The Summer of Chasing Mermaids by Ockler. This book had so much promise, but it fell short, leaving us wanting more. Written as a retelling of The Little Mermaid with a teenage Trinidadian Ariel named Elise, we thought that we were in for a satisfying portrayal of black girl softness, black girl femininity, romance, and diaspora. Being that Elise is Afro-Caribbean, we already thought that the literary mold for Blackness and YA had expanded. As we read texts with characters that were predominantly African-American, Elise's arrival felt like a good change of pace, and more importantly, another step towards an expansion of black possibility. However, that was not the case.
She reminisces about specifics about her island. It's not like she realizes that like sometimes things will be read differently if she does them because of someone else. It's like, because as a black woman in America, you constantly like think about it. Like this is what you're like always thinking about it because you're constantly reminded of it. She's never reminded of it, and she never reminds herself of it.
While we were ready to receive Elise, there was something off about her that the girls couldn't quite name. Her Trini vocabulary was forced. Her boyfriend wasn't the least bit mindful of her Trinidadian culture. And we as readers barely got a sense of Elise as the main character of the novel. Beyond the elementary character breakdown, a beautiful black girl who uproots her life in Trinidad and Tobago to move to Oregon with a family member to escape this dark past. She's a wonderful singer and dancer. She writes poetry and was very outspoken as she now has no voice. We get no further development. Furthermore, the members of my book club even found themselves forgetting that Elise was black. She was not fully allowed to exist as a black girl, as a black Trinidadian girl in that white space of Oregon. Though it was not intentional, Sarah Ockler, the author, quite literally placed Elise in the center of whiteness. The only darker skinned character in the novel is literally plucked from Trinidad and Tobago and placed in Oregon, a state that has had a history of being a white utopia, a place where whiteness thrives. It's its mainstay, and anything else that is other than that, it stands out quite literally. No free Negro or mulatto not residing in the state at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall come, reside, or be within this state, or hold any real estate, or make any contracts, or maintain any suit therein. And the Legislative Assembly shall provide by penal laws for the removal by public officers of all such Negroes and mulattoes, and for their effectual exclusion from the state, and for the punishment of the persons who shall bring them into the state, or employ or harbor them. So this compounded by the fact that this black girl character is taking up space in a white imaginary, meaning this black girl character is not only placed in Oregon and is surrounded by whiteness, but she exists as just a sole black character in this white author's mind. Whiteness is not only ever present for Elise as a black girl character, but it's almost a smothering force. Sarah Ockler tried, she really tried, but she didn't really think about how blinding this whiteness would be for Elise. As a black girl character, she did not think about how her black girlhood or her black womanhood as she is in her late teens and is coming into her own would be received among other people in a predominantly white community. Whenever feminism or racism presents itself in the novel, there's a disconnect from intersectionality. Sarah Ockler doesn't think about the possibility that you can be black and a woman at the same time in the way that we are facing both things at the same time, if not multiple things. For Sarah Ockler, blackness and womanness literally do not even exist on the same plane. It's ineligible to whiteness. She literally cannot read it. And we literally cannot read ourselves because of this segmenting of identity that Elise is experiencing. So as Sarah Ockler fails to read, at least in this white space, she ceases to exist for Black girl readers. All that exists is the voice of a white author at this point, because she's not taking into account what it fully means to be a Black girl in those spaces. Ultimately, I had to ask these girls, I had to ask the members of my book club as we went on and we were reading and talking about this book, again, is this what you want? If this is representation, if this is the kind of representation that's offered to you, what do you say? Do you accept it or do you not?
I think that they should be checked. I don't know if I want them to continue writing. I don't know if I want them to step down. Personally, I wouldn't read about a Black girl written by a white author if I didn't have to. I will be honest with that. But who was her editor? What woman? Who's reading this? Is my question. You can be a writer and your book could suck, but your editor could be boss AF. So if you're gonna write about a person of color, then have that the person who's specific to that color check your novel, because if I had, it would I would be listen, don't make her Black if you're gonna write her like this.
Are you just not attracted by white authors writing any character of color at all, or is there?
I would say that I'm not attracted to it because it's another one of those moments of white people taking something from Black people. I don't know. I would if they're gonna do it and they do it well, that's different than if they're gonna do it and they make it their own. It's she put her own voice in this girl, but her own voice is not the voice of a Black woman. So for me, if someone was to write a story about my life, I wouldn't want it to be a white author.
Ultimately, we found that even as we were given an iteration of Black girl fantasy, of the impossible becoming possible through text, of becoming mermaids, we just didn't want it. Even though Sarah Ockler was giving us a Black girl that was being loved and cared for to some extent, a Black girl that was immersed in her ethnic culture, a Black girl that was positive, a positive feminine supernatural force, the gesture was empty. It was lacking. As Mary Gina and the others stated, it was just not enough to just write a Black girl character. We needed this character to move. We needed this character to breathe. We needed at least to be written with consideration. At least was written with minimum consideration in mind to her Black girlness.